So in this third PowerPoint, or third part of the PowerPoint, we're going to talk a little more in detail about the cytoskeleton as well as introduce something called cell junctions. So there are three main types of cytoskeleton. There are microtubules, which move materials within the cell. Microtubules also help divide chromosomes during cell division. Microfilaments, which change the shape of cells and form little structures called pseudopods. And then intermediate filaments, which anchor organelles within the cell. So this is actually what holds the nucleus in place, or other organelles like the mitochondria or chloroplast. If you look on this diagram, here are the intermediate filaments here in green, microtubules here in blue, and then we have the microfilaments down here. The colors really don't mean anything. They don't have a color. This is just what they're showing in the illustration. Up here is an electron microscope picture of cells, and what's happened is they've actually used a couple of different color stains. They've stained the nuclei in blue, and the nucleus is actually being held by intermediate filaments. So intermediate filaments are actually in blue. Everything that you see here in green are microtubules, and everything here in red is going to be the microfilaments. So cell movement is something that the cytoskeleton is used for quite a bit. Cilia are little hair-like projections made of microtubules. And so we actually have cilia in our body. So we have cells that line our throat, the trachea, that have little cilia coming off of it. And this is actually what gives you that tickle in the back of your throat when you feel like you have to cough. But the whole purpose of the cilia is actually to help trap bacteria and other things that might otherwise get into your airway. Paramecia is a little single-celled organism, and in this particular case, the cell is the organism, and so it uses the cilia for the cell to actually move. Flagella is a whip-like tail. It's made out of microtubules, and we'll find this in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes. By the way, cilia is only found in eukaryotic cells. But flagella you'll find in prokaryotes, so bacteria. So this is the flagella, these little tails coming off. Sperm cells have flagella as well, and again, they use them for movement. Pseudopods, which quite literally means false feet, so pseudo, false, and pods, feet. The cell changes shape using microfilaments and actually create these little extensions shooting off of the cell, which are called pseudopods. So here's a pseudopod here, here's another one here. This is a little microorganism called an amoeba. Here's a cartoon depiction of that same amoeba, and these little outcroppings are the pseudopods. Intercellular junctions. This is connections between cells. They allow cells to adhere to one another, so stick together, interact, and communicate with one another. Plant cells have cell junctions called plasmodesmata. Animal cells have three types of junctions called tight junctions, desmosomes, and gap junctions. So plant cell junctions, again, are called plasmodesmata, and these are little channels or little holes in the cell wall of the plant. And it allows for cytoplasm to be exchanged between the plant cells, as well as ions and other substances that are dissolved in the cytoplasm. And really what this allows the cell to do, or allows the plant cells to do, is communicate through the exchange of these ions and materials in the cytoplasm. Animal cells have three types of junctions. The first kind, called a tight junction, binds the cells together with proteins, and actually kind of creates a filling in between the cells to make them watertight, make them waterproof, so water cannot seep in between the cells. Desmosomes, these are anchoring junctions. Think of staples. So they're actually adhering one cell to another. So here's a desmosome right here. So think staples. There's still gaps in between, but these are the points where they anchor together. Gap junctions are very similar to plasmodesmata, so very similar to the structures that plants have for communication. Gap junctions are little holes in the membrane that directly connect one cell to another so that cytoplasm, ions, other materials can be directly exchanged between one cell and another, and this allows for communication. So that's it. That's all I have to say about the structure and function of cells. If you have any questions, please ask them in class when I see you. Thanks.